Cosmic Outlaw, the legend of Roan Hale in a galaxy ruled by unbreakable codes and cold machines. One man discovered the most dangerous algorithm of all, Defiance. Part 13. The demon awakens deep in the ancient heart of the Sherwood expanse, where the canopy wove so thick that daylight fell in fractured green shards. Roan Hale stood motionless beneath a grandfather heartwood tree, older than the consortium's arrival. The air hung heavy with resin and wood smoke, the distant cries of refugees settling into makeshift shelters a constant, low ache behind his thoughts. He had wanted only peace, a small plot of valley land, mornings spent tilling soil rich with verdant prime's promise, evenings with calloused hands wrapped around a bow for sport, not survival. A quiet life beside a woman whose emerald eyes could gentle even the wildest storm in his soul. That man, the one who had buried the war, the blood, the screams of off-world battlefields under layers of earth and deliberate forgetting, was gone. In his place stood something colder. The demon he had chained long ago had slipped its leash at the moment news of the burning reached him. No remorse flickered in those storm-gray eyes now. No fear, only a single crystalline focus. Retrieve Mira at any cost, and if the cost included every syndicate, lackey and Veylari overlord on the planet, then the bill would be paid in full. The merry men felt the change like a shift in wind before thunder. Little John's laughter no longer came at all, while Scarlet's quips grew sharper, edged with venom. Even Lyra's graceful movements carried predatory tension. They gathered around the central fire that neutroned the core band, and a ring of grizzled veterans among the refugees, former legionaries, frontier militia, men and women who had seen consortium pacifications before. Faces scarred by shrapnel and loss, eyes hard with the knowledge that peace had always been temporary. Old Harlan sat among them, stood still, streaking his silver hair, hands trembling not from age but from fury barely contained. The estate's destruction had stripped the last veneer of civility from him. Roan spoke first, voice low and flat as a drawn blade. We need eyes inside the spire. Numbers, patrol rotations, drone patterns, and most of all Mira, alive or... He could not finish. The demon inside snarled at the possibility, promising apocalypse if the answer was the latter. Alan Adale nodded, fingers already dancing over his lute's hidden controls. I can pose as a traveling bard, again banquet circuit still running. Nobles love morning songs in times like these. Will Scarlet leaned forward, eyes cold. Better captured guards. We hit a patrol hard, take what we need, and make sure none carry tallies back. Little John cracked knuckles like snapping branches. No loose ends. Tuck's usual prayer was silent this time. They moved before dawn the next day, swift, silent, lethal. A syndicate supply convoy rumbled along the elevated maglev. 6 hover trucks escorted by 24 ground troops and a lance of powered armor elites. The merry men struck from 3 sides, smoke charges blooming sweet and thick. EMP arrows dropping escort drones like stunned birds, grapnels yanking elites off balance, bows sang, blades flashed. Energy rifles salvaged and unburied for this crackled with stolen fire. The fight was brief and brutal, almost no survivors among the escort. The convoy drivers, civilian contractors pressed into service, were bound and left alive in the wreckage, too terrified to speak of anything but ghosts in green. But these are the guards who were stripped of gear and buried deep under moss and root. No messages sent, no warnings needed. The silence itself would scream when the convoy failed to arrive. Where prisoners were dragged deeper into the forest, 2 common troopers, a sergeant and a communications officer whose eyes widened at the sight of Roan Hale alive and unchained. Interrogation was methodical, merciless. Bound to trees in a secluded glade, they faced the reality of their situation. Tuck's tea-loosened tongues, pain sharpened them when necessary. Lyra's blades danced inches from arteries. Will recited names of family members back home with soft precision. The sergeant held longest until Little John's massive hand closed around his throat. Pressure slow and inevitable, words spilled. Spires on full locked and triple patrols inside and out. Veylari advisors in every corridor. Kane's broken. The Tor 1V Halti runs everything now. Lady Eldridge is alive. Lower interrogation suites. Kane visits her daily, trying to bargain. Roan's fist shattered a nearby sapling at the word bargain. The prisoners flinched. The comms officer gave up lift codes, drone grids, shift changes, everything, voice cracking as he begged for mercy that would not come. When it was done, Roan looked at each man in turn, voice devoid of heat. You won't be going back to share this. The glade fell silent, save for muffled pleas that ended quickly. Their living bodies joined the others alive to contemplate their individual fates, silent fear of what sound may bring. Unable to break free, all that was left to do was hope they, the few survivors, didn't join the others here. Every single person in his group, living or not, was here, one way or another, eyes staring up from beneath the forest floor. Threats removed, secrets kept. Old Harlan's contribution came quieter but no less vital. In a hidden dell lit only by bioluminescent moss, he met with 3 ancient contact's former stewards. retired guards, minor nobles whose loyalty to the Eldridge line predated consortium influence. They would not fight, not anymore, but fury at the burning gave them courage for whispers. Messages passed through servant corridors, laundry chutes, kitchen gossip. Confirmation trickled back over to sleepless days. Mira lived. Kane's leash had shortened to a choke chain. Veylari was preparing orbital examples if unrest continued. Around the War Council fire, possibilities unfolded like maps. Scenario 1. Direct assault on the main gate Suicido. Scenario 2. Infiltration through the old smuggler tunnels beneath the spire, possible, but guarded now. Scenario 3. Diversionary raids drawing forces outward while a small team slipped in via the poster and Mira herself had planned to use. They refined, argued, adjusted, timing, extraction routes, contingencies if Mira was moved off-world, a possibility that turned Roan's voice to gravel. His thoughts drifted ceaselessly to her. Hundreds of futures branched in his mind. Mira safe in his arms under starlit leaves, her laughter warm against his throat. Mira wounded, needing his strength. Mira broken by their torments and the galaxy burning in consequence. Mira dead-danned himself, a weapon with nothing left to lose. Fear and worry gnawed at the edges of the demon's cold focus, but he crushed them down. This was not just his life on the line. Hundreds sheltered in the Greenwood now. Thousands more in hidden valleys. He would not fail them through haste. But gods, the waiting, the not knowing was a blade twisting slow. Deep beneath the spire, in a cell of chilled durastal and soft recursive lighting designed to erode the sense of time, Mira endured. They had stripped her of cloak and bow, left her in simple linen that did nothing against the cold. Wrists bore raw circles from restraints, but her posture remained straight, chin high. Kane's visits had grown more frequent and more desperate. He paced before his cell, sweat glistening on his jowls despite the chill voice, oscillating between false sympathy and crude suggestion. You could end this, my lady. Accept my protection. Your outlaw will come. He's predictable that way, and he'll die messily against Veylari's shields. But you could still have comfort, a place at my side. Your body in exchange for your life. Think of your people scattered, starving. One word from you, and I could arrange mercy. Mira's stare was winterstone. You think terror makes you strong, Kane. It only proves how weak you've always been. His face purpled, hand raising as though to strike, then falling as Veylari's presence loomed in the doorway. Kane retreated like a whipped dog. Lord Executor Veylari's interrogations were surgical art. The Veylari never raised its voice. It simply stood, elongated fingers folded, harmonics slicing directly into her mind with calculated precision. Observe the inefficiencies of your resistance. Your estate reduced to carbon. Your people fleeing like vermin into wilderness. They will not survive. Your Roan Hale will attempt rescue. He will fail. We have studied human attachment patterns. You will watch him die through these walls, projected in high fidelity. Then you will beg for the oblivion we delay. It spoke of Veylari tactics with clinical detachment, how they preferred to break worlds not with overwhelming force but with incremental despair. Burn one village, let rumors spread, wait for surrender. How humanity's emotional bonds were exploited, threatened families, offer false mercy, watch hope corrode obedience. Each word was meant to cut deeper than blades, to prolong torment, to savor the slow death of spirit. Mira's heart broke silently behind stony eyes of purest anger. Images tormented her. The manor in flames, Harlan's trembling hands stilled forever, children crying in the forest, Roan walking into ambush after ambush for her sake. Grief clawed hot in her chest. Fear for him, for all of them, threatened to buckle her knees. But she refused to let the cracks show. You calculate everything except what happens when humans decide the cost is worth paying, she said, voice steady as drawn steel. You'll learn. We always make you learn. Veylari tilted its head, almost intrigued by the absence of tears. Your defiance is noted. It will make the eventual submission more satisfying. But Mira saw the subtle shift, the way its harmonics lingered half a beat longer, probing for weakness that was not there. They were not winning, not yet, and she would die before letting them believe otherwise. In the Greenwood, plans solidified. Scouts reported weakened patrol sectors. Harlan's contacts confirmed Veylari's schedule arrogant, predictable. Captured gear was distributed, salvaged armor repainted, energy rifles cleaned and distributed to veterans who knew their bite. The merry men sharpened arrows and resolved both. Roan stood alone at dusk on a ridge overlooking the distant spirelights, wind tugging his cloak, demon and man momentarily aligned. If Mira lived, they would carve peace from this war together. If not, the stars themselves would weep ash. The forest held its breath. The storm gathered, and beneath the spire, in cold doors still and colder words, Mira waited, defiant, unbroken, certain he was coming. They'll work.